Great. So, welcome everybody. I hope we're all doing well. So, we're going to start on the back, and what I want to do today is really work with abdomen, and that's lymphatic centers, that's breathing, that's our digestive centers, that's our basically one of the four hearts of our body is like taking deep belly breaths. It helps move blood through our abdomen, and it basically relieves pressure on the heart, so the heart doesn't have to do all the work. And that's basically the same can be said for like any muscle. Like the more muscles engage and relax, the more your body pumps its own blood through itself, and that really gives the heart a break. But one of the big centers is the belly breathing. So let's start on the back. And so you're lying face up. Place your feet flat on the floor. And start breathing into belly right away. So take a deep inhale into abdomen. So deep breath in. And then exhale. And repeat this several times as you notice the inhales into belly. They swell your navel a little bit, right? Because there's more pressure. And then as you exhale, draw your navel in a little bit. So do that a little bit. We're starting to add some movement to this. So as you inhale, you breathe into belly. And as you exhale, toward the bottom of your exhale, when there's the opportunity, draw your navel in. And then you can relax that as you inhale. So a few more breaths here. In and out through the nose if that's available. But if you cannot do that, it's in and out through the mouth. All right. Very good. And then as you inhale, we're going to add more movement. Arch your back. So you squeeze the muscles of your low back and you press the tip of your tailbone into the floor. So we're not lifting our hips. Hips stay on the floor. You just rock onto tailbone as you breathe in. And then exhale, slide your tailbone forward and press your low back into the floor as you draw your navel down. And go back and forth like this several times. So deep breath in, you arch your back, tip of tailbone into floor, flood your belly with the inhale. And then exhale, low back into the floor. And as you do that, toward the bottom of your exhale, draw your navel in fairly tightly. And go back and forth like this. So this is already a good way to start circulating blood around belly. It's a good practice for what's called peristalsis, the movement of food through our guts. And it also helps our immune system. Okay, so you're continuing that with your low back. Everyone bend your knees and place the soles of your feet flat on the floor. So soles of the feet on floor, knees are bent. As you inhale, hands go behind your head. Arch your back, tip of tailbone to floor. And as you exhale, you're going to add lifting your head and shoulders up. So this is like a slow version of an old-fashioned crunch. As you inhale, head on the ground, arch your back, breathe into belly. And as you exhale, press your low back into the floor, draw your navel in, and lift your head and shoulders straight up. And do that a few more times here. Okay, so we're warming up abdominal center even more. Okay, notice if you veer to one side or another. Like, do you come straight up, or do you go up and a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right? Just kind of notice that. Okay, and then from there, as you exhale, lift, also twist to one side. So we're adding that on an exhale. Inhale, your head's on the ground, you arch your back, flood your belly with breath. And then exhale, press low back into ground, navel into floor, lift, and twist in the other direction. So you go back and forth like that. Inhale is symmetric. You arch your back, breathe into belly. Exhale, you lift, and you twist to one side. And then you come back to the center midline on inhale again. And exhale, you lift, and then you twist to the other side. Go back and forth like this another few times. So wringing out guts. And if this is a lot of abdominal work for you, I think probably for a lot of you it might be, just make sure your face is relaxed. Make sure you're lifting your head with your abdominals, not with your jaw. The jaw can relax. Okay, very good. And then place your head on the floor. Pause there for a little bit. Notice the heat in belly. All right, very good. And then from here, you're going to separate your feet. So if you're on a mat, separate the feet so they're about mat's distance apart. So your feet are still flat on the floor, knees are bent, feet are wide, and then take your arms out to the sides like the tines of a fork. You're going to take your arms out to the side with elbows bent, back of your hands on the ground as best you can. And then as you inhale, reach one arm back beyond your head, like reach behind you as far as you can, and drop the same side knee inward toward the middle of the mat. And that stretches the outside leg and hip. That's all an in-breath. And then exhale, come back to where you started, arm by your side, feet flat on the floor. And then as you inhale, reach your other arm back. Reach back far for the side body stretch and drop the same side knee inward and downward. So it's like you're trying to push your inner knee toward the floor. And then you exhale, recoil, and relax. And go back and forth like this. So for a lot of you, I think this will be outer leg stretch, outer hip stretch. You can also add an arching of your back to flood your belly with breath. And then you exhale. The exhale is the relaxation point. So it's not like you're coming up into a crunch or anything. So go back and forth like this. Same side arm and leg stretches in opposite directions. And then you relax back in the middle where you started. And then you reach the other arm and leg in opposite direction. Yeah. Very good. In addition to any stretch you're getting maybe on the outside line, like the lateral lines, that's a lot of the reason why we do this. But see if you can notice the guts stretching out. Okay, very good. Take a deep breath in and exhale from there. Come back to center and step your knees together, step your feet together. This time, take your arms out in wingspan, so straight out to the sides, and you can relax with your palms facing up. Okay. So from here, step your left thigh on top of your right, left thigh on top of right, and as you inhale, drop your knees to the left, turn your head to the right, and you can also arch your back here. You squeeze the muscles in your lower back so you can flood the belly with breath. That's your in-breath. Exhale, come back to where you started. Knees point up and nose points up. And repeat the same side several times. So for several breaths, inhale your knees to the left, head turns to the right, arch your back, flood your navel with breath, and exhale, come back to center. And do this another few times. As your knees go to the left, your right shoulder might get a little heavier. Try your best to keep your right shoulder heavy, your right shoulder on the ground, your right arm on the ground. Okay, great. And then as you come back to center, first just unlace your legs and place the soles of both feet on the floor, knees bent, soles of feet on ground. Notice the after effects, what we've worked on the right side. Take a deep breath here. Yeah, and then as you exhale, please take your right thigh on top of left thigh. This is our starting position. As you inhale, drop your knees to the right, turn your head to the left, and in the midst of that twist, top of the inhale, arch your back here so you can really flood the belly with breath again. And then exhale, you come back to where you started and repeat this same practice several times. And this side might feel different than the first side. It might be easier for you to keep your left shoulder down, left shoulder blade down, left arm down, or this might feel more difficult. Go to where you can go and lead this movement with the breath. So every inhale, you flood the belly, create more abdominal space by arching your back even as you twist. Do that one more time, breathing as you expand outward. And then exhale as you come back to center. Unlace your legs again, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. All right. Very nice. So take a deep breath in and out here. Interlace your fingers. And then you're going to press your palms up toward the ceiling. Okay, and that's option number 1 for legs, is to press your palms up toward the ceiling. Option number 2 is you start to press your palms beyond your head, like you're trying to push your palms behind you as far as you can. So from here, the arms are as long as you can make them, and you're going to take your triceps back. That means your shoulder blades are going to lift toward the ears. That's okay here. So as your arms press back, your shoulder blades go back, all that work, it tends to kind of grab the guts a little bit. So you might feel a little bit of length in your belly here. Now, as you're pressing your palms back, start sliding your heels forward as far as you can so that the legs are straight. So we're trying to take up as much sort of like space from finger to heels as possible. Fingers press back, palms press back, heels press forward, and we're trying to create as much space in abdomen as possible. You might feel your lower guts, your lower abdomen, kind of like leave the pelvic bowl a little bit as you create more space. Breathe into that space 2 more times. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. Grow your spine another millimeter. Take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And then exhale from there. Release, hands next to hips. Bend your knees again, soles of feet flat on the floor. Okay, nice. So from here, we're still on the back. Another couple things to do. You're going to take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Right ankle on top left thigh. And then you're going to reach through your legs and take hold of your left hamstring. If you need to, you can put a strap around. Some of you might also reach through and grab your left shin, and you're going to draw this whole thing inward toward your heart. So with right ankle on top of left thigh, I'm looking for a stretch on the outer right hip, IT band, outer right thigh. But you're drawing it in, drawing it in, drawing it in as much as you can. And hold this for a couple more breaths. You can breathe into low back. All right. And then from here, keep the lacing of the legs as they are. So keep the legs as they are. So your right ankle is on top of your left thigh. From here, you're going to add a twist to this and try your best to drop your right foot to the floor on your left. So like your heart stays pointing upward, but you're going to drop your legs over to the left. And my hope is that your right foot is now on your left side. My hope is that the sole of the foot is on the floor. Okay? If it's not on the floor, perhaps you can put a block underneath it. Or if it's just kind of suspended in midair, maybe hold that foot with your left hand. Okay? So we're now in a twist. Okay? So my hope is that so your right foot's over on the left side. That means your right knee is pointing up toward the ceiling somewhere. Okay? Like the right knee is high up in the air. From here, you're going to reach your right arm beyond your head as far as you can and try to send your right hip as far forward as you can. And part of that work is arching your low back. Okay? So right hip goes forward, arch your back. And if it feels okay for your knee, you can also send your right knee a little forward. That might be an inner leg stretch, right inner leg stretch. Try that a few times and breathe deeply down your right side. Several breaths here. Okay, very good. And then exhale, just kind of untwist, unpretzel yourself back to center. So both soles of both feet are on the floor, knees are bent. Okay, yeah, hopefully it feels like we're sort of stretching ourselves out as like a rubber band a little bit. Notice the extra space on your right side. Take a deep breath in. And big exhale. Okay, so we're gonna try that on the other side. This pose doesn't have a name, so we're gonna have to make one up. But from here, you're gonna take your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Okay, so at this point, we're on our backs, left ankle across right thigh, and you're gonna reach through your legs and hold your right hamstring so you can lasso your arms around your right hamstring. If you need to take a strap around your hamstring, you can do that too. Also, some of you may be able to hold your right shin if you bend your knee. And then you draw the whole thing inward as tightly as you can. Okay, and we're going to take this side just as like slow and long and thoughtful as the first side. So take a few breaths here with your left ankle on top of your right thigh. I'm looking for a stretch on your outer left hip or your IT band on the left side, outer leg, outer thigh. As long as that's okay for your knee, hug the whole thing in as tightly as you can and take a few more breaths here. Okay, great. So you're going to keep the lacing of your legs, keep your legs in the shapes that they are. And from here, so your left foot is over on your right side, right up in the air. You're going to add a twist and drop your legs over to the right and see if you can get the sole of your left foot on the floor. Okay, so sole of left foot on the floor. So at this point, if your left foot's not on the floor, you can always take your right hand underneath it, or if you have a block, you can put your foot on the block. Okay, so we're in a twist. As best you can, keep your left shoulder blade down. Okay, and so the left foot's on the floor. That means your left knee is pointing up toward the ceiling somewhere. Either like straight up or more over to the right or left. It doesn't matter exactly where. Where it's pointing depends on your twist. So from here, you're now you can hold the foot with your right hand if you'd like. Reach your left arm by your ear beyond your head and get that big arm stretch that's like so big it actually carries some of your guts along with it. So now your left arm is reaching as far beyond your head as you can. Okay? And as you're reaching back, you can arch your spine a little bit and try to send your left hip forward. So as you send your left hip forward, part of it's the engagement of low back muscles, multifidi, your spinal erectors. So you squeeze the muscles in your low back to send your left hip forward. And if it feels okay for your left knee, you can also send your left knee forward, which will be engagement of outer hip to stretch your inner hip. Okay, so as you reach your left fingers back, send your left hip forward and maybe your left knee forward and breathe into that space. So it's like we're trying to add space for breath, add space for movement, for flow. 2 or 3 more breaths here on your left side. Yes.
I kept a hold of my right shin in my right hand, while my left arm was stretched above my head.
Yeah, and real quick, we have one more breath here, and then exhale, come out of that. So yes, yeah,
Okay. I got into the position a little bit sooner, so I got as many breaths as I need. But my question is, should my right leg from knee to ankle be hitting the ground, or is it still elevated? Because it is definitely not hitting the floor.
Yeah, it doesn't need to hit the floor. It doesn't need to hit the floor. Yeah, if it does hit the floor, that's great. It does not have to. Yep. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah, and I'll ask you about this pose after our practice today, because I think I've done this before, but it's a pretty new one. But anyway, so everyone's out, and take some deep breath into belly. All right, my hope is there's a lot more space there. Okay, take a deep breath in, and then exhale from here. Draw your right knee into chest. Okay, you hug your right knee in and extend your left heel as far forward as you can. So everyone's hugging right knee into chest, left leg extends, and press your left heel as far forward as you can. Now, in about 20 minutes, we'll be standing on the left foot while hugging the right knee in. So, use this as inspiration. So imagine standing on your left foot. Continue hugging the right knee in with your right hand, and if you can, reach your left arm beyond your head as far as you can. So you're trying to get the left side of your body as long as you can. Left heel forward, left arm back. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And exhale, release, and let's switch sides. So take your left knee into chest. And hug your left knee in, press your right heel forward. Okay, and this will be option number one for standing on one foot. So you can imagine standing on your right foot at this point. Okay, hug your knee in. Option number one is here. Option number two, you hug your knee in with just your left hand. So left hand's holding left knee. Right arm reaches beyond head. So you're trying to create as much distance as you can between right heel and right fingertips. And there's two more breaths here. Take a deep breath down your right side. Big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And exhale, release, draw both knees in. Yeah, both knees into chest. That's option number one. Option number two, if you know happy baby pose, you can take it. That's you take your knees a little wider. And if your happy baby pose is you reach and take hold of your both feet with your hands. So right hand holds right foot, left hand holds left foot. That could round your back more. You draw your knees toward the floor, soles of feet up toward the ceiling for more of a hamstring stretch. And there's two more breaths here. Take a big inhale. Take a big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And from there, release, and let's come up to one of our downward facing dogs, either the floor dog. You come into hands and knees and lift your thighs back and up. That's the floor dog. Wall dog, if you're doing that, you come up to standing, find some wall space or a piece of furniture that's not going to move. And you take your hands to the wall or the furniture, and you take your spine as horizontal as you can and send your thighs far away from your hands. So it's like you're making a 90-degree angle at your hips. So hands can press into wall or the floor, and send your thighs as far away from your fingertips as you can, like upper thighs. And that's gonna get your guts nice and long. Breathe here into your long belly. 2 or 3 more breaths here. All right, very good. And then from there, you can bend your knees. Let's all make our way up to standing. All right, and so that was a lot of work, and that was a lot of blood work in particular. So blood might be kind of like all around belly. So if you come up to standing, or once you come up to standing, reach your arms up overhead and press your palms toward the ceiling a few times. By a few times, I mean for a few breaths. So press your feet down, press your palms up, just so we can even out the blood pressure in the head before continuing. So take a deep breath in. Okay, and then exhale from there. Release, hands by sides. Take your feet out a little wider, so it's a wide-legged stance. If it feels okay for your knees, have your heels a little bit wider than your toes. So your toes just slightly in. This is internal rotation of hips. All right, and legs are straight, feet comfortably wide. And as you inhale, you're going to reach your right arm up toward the ceiling. Reach as high up as we can, just as we've been doing. Inhale here. Now hold your breath, and you're going to fold to the left, stretching out the right side even more. And then exhale as you come back to center, hands by sides. And do the same thing with your left arm. Reach your left arm up overhead. Hold the breath as you fold to the right. It's like you're stretching yourself over your breath. And then exhale, come back to center, hands next to hips. Back to the first side. Right arm reaches up, reach fingertips nice and tall. Hold the breath as you fold to the left. Exhale as you come back to center. Same thing on the left side. Reach your left fingertips up as high as you can, fingernails skyward. Hold the breath, fold to the right. Exhale, come back to center. 4 more times. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Hold the breath, fold to the left. Exhale, you come back to center. And inhale, left arm reaches up. Big stretch on the left. Hold the breath as you fold to the right. Exhale as you come back to center. And once more per side. Right arm reaches up with a relaxed face, softened jaw. Reach your fingertips up as high as you can. Hold the breath as you fold to the left. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, reach your left arm up. Hold the breath. Fold to the right. And exhale as you come back to center. Keep your legs as they are, or if you'd like, take a slightly wider stance for a wide-legged forward fold. So you're going to bend your knees and take your hands to the floor. So that'll be easier to do if you bend your knees. If you still can't take your hands to the floor, if you have a yoga prop, go ahead and take that, hands onto blocks. Or take your hands onto a low piece of furniture or some heavy piece of furniture that's not going to move. All right. So yeah, several breaths here. Okay. And to lengthen your belly a little bit further, everyone bend your knees quite a bit. And then arch your lumbar spine. Lift your tailbone up toward the ceiling. Lift your sitting bones up toward the ceiling. So you squeeze the muscles in your low back, stretching your belly even more. Breathe into belly. Breathe into belly a breath or two here. Okay, and then try to keep that navel length as much as you can and straighten your legs by lifting your inner thighs up toward the ceiling. So the quads have a say in this. Quads lifting like back and up. Inner thighs lifting back and up. Yeah, and 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. And one last time. Take a deep breath in. All right, very good. Bend your knees again. Heel toe yourself closer together. Okay, and let's come all the way up to standing. Again, if you need to take your arms up overhead, interlace your fingers. Before you press your palms up, though, switch the lacing of your fingers. So your other thumb is on top. And it's going to be the weird way you hold your hands. So you press your palms up that way. All right. Very good. Take a deep breath in. Okay. Great. Release. Okay, let's all find some wall space. And we're going to take our back against the wall. This is going to be chair pose. I call it T for two. So T for two, because we're going to do it twice. So if you do chair pose in the middle of the room, you can do that. But I'll describe it with your back against the wall. Step your feet a little bit forward from the wall, maybe like 16, 18 inches, a foot and a half forward. Now from here, you're going to interlace your fingers, press your palms up toward the ceiling. So everyone's back is against the wall, your sacrum's against the wall, your mid-back's against the wall. For some of you, the back of your head may be against the wall. That does not need to happen. But you're going to press your palms and slide your triceps up as high as you can. Arms slide up. It's almost like you're trying to lift your guts up, and then keep that length as you sit down into your chair. So you're going to slide down the wall, and it's like your upper thighs are going toward the floor, and your palms are lifting up toward the ceiling. Now breathe into guts 2 more times as your quads start to heat up. 2 more breaths. Yeah, deep breath in. Take a huge exhale. And one last time. Okay, and then come up from the first chair pose, release. Okay, very nice. And we're gonna do that one more time with a slight variation. So you're gonna reach your arms up. Instead of interlacing your fingers and pressing your palms up, this time interlace your thumbs, right? So your fingers are like out to the sides. And you're gonna lead your thumbs, thumbs are hooked around one another, and you lift your thumbs up as high as you can. Keep that length. This might be a different stretch for your arms. Keep that length for your arms, and exhale, sit back down into chair pose again. And it's almost like the more you slide your thighs toward the floor, the higher your thumbs go. So like you're trying to traction yourself along front side of spine. Breathe into guts a lot in this chair pose. Feel your thighs wake up. Press both feet through the floor like you're trying to leave a print into concrete. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. Come out of that. All right. Second chair and T for two. We're out of that. Okay, very good. All right, so now that we know where our thighs are, we're going to use our thighs to help us balance here. So from here, everyone find some wall space or find a tall piece of furniture that doesn't work. I know that some of you use the bookshelf, but just something that you can use to help you balance on one foot. Okay, and from here, everyone turn so that you're facing along the wall and your right hand is on the wall. So it's like the right side of your body is toward the wall and the left side of your body is away from the wall. Okay, so that means you can use your right hand to help balance. All right, and from here you're going to we'll start off with 2 feet on the ground, right? Press both feet down equally, and then notice the weight shift into your right foot. So you're going to shift your weight into your right foot. More and more weight into your right foot, which means you have to drive that foot into the floor. Less and less weight into your left foot. And once there's no weight in your left foot, draw your left knee in, and if you can, hug your left knee in with your left hand. Okay? If you can't hold the shin, maybe you can take your left hand underneath your left hamstring. Okay? So from here, so your left knee's hugging in. Drive your right foot through the floor. Lift your lungs up toward the ceiling. Lungs lift straight away from your right foot. And some of you will stay here. Some of you, if you would like to attempt your right hand to leave the wall, either A, slide your right hand up the wall, but not have it leave the wall, or B, reach your arm up even higher and it may come off the wall. But the more you reach up, so either A, slide your right hand up the wall, or lift your right arm high off the wall. But regardless of whatever you're doing here, the more you lift up, the more you drive down with your right foot. And there's 2 more times here. Take a deep breath in, big exhale, and take a deep breath in. Okay, great, and come back to standing. All right, very nice. So take a couple breaths here. This might feel rather out of balance, so notice. Notice. Okay, and then can we turn around? Let's do that. So our left hand is on the wall. That is our assist for balance. So we've all turned 180 degrees. All right, so first feel the weight of both feet into the floor. Like that's helpful to notice the distinction between both feet weight between feet and then weight on one foot. So deep breath here. And then from here, you're going to start shifting your weight into your left foot. And there's more and more weight into your left foot. More and more weight into your left foot. From there, once all the weight's in your left foot, there's no weight in your right foot, you're now going to draw your right knee into chest. You can hold the knee. You can wrap around, right hand wraps around shin. You kind of hold the, like right below the kneecap, or hold the hamstring. But the more you draw your right knee in, you're going to want to kind of curl down. But the more you hug your right knee in, the more you drive your left foot through the floor and lift your lungs up toward the ceiling. So it's like you go opposite. Now you can stay here with your left hand on the wall where it is. If you'd like to, slide your hand up the wall. It can remain on the wall and slide higher. That encourages you to lift your lungs up a little higher. If you'd like to, you stay here. If you'd like to, reach your arm up high enough that it leaves the wall, and now you're only balancing on your left foot. Yeah. So the more you press your left foot down, the more you lift your lungs up. Yeah, so it's like you're a beam of light from the ground up to the ceiling. And breathe into guts 2 or 3 more times here. Yep. Try to lift lower abdomen up another millimeter. A little more length. Okay, great. And then exhale from there, release. Come back to the floor with both feet. All right. Nice. Take a couple breaths here. Okay, great. And then from here, let's come down and around to seated. So yeah, after all that sort of lifting up work, we're going to come back down to seated. Come to seated with your legs straight out in front of you. If you need the knees bent a little bit in order to feel like you can sit upright, go ahead and do that. Okay, so I hope everyone's to seated. Both legs are out in front to start. Arch your back here a little bit and lift your lungs up. If your hands need to be, so either hands are by your sides, perhaps are by your sides. If they need to be a little bit behind you to help lift your lungs, you can do that too. Okay, keep your right leg straight forward. Bend your left knee and plant your left foot flat on the floor. Okay, and then from here, you're going to turn to your right. So the twist to the right. So heart turns to the right. Now your left arm is the front arm. Take your left elbow to the inside of your left knee. I'll say that again. Take your left elbow to the inside of your left knee. Your left elbow can be bent 90 degrees, so your fingers are pointing up. That's pretty neutral for your shoulder. Okay, so everyone's left elbow is to the inside of their left knee or thigh. Left finger's pointing up. And as you inhale, you're going to arch your spine, lift your lungs, And then exhale, you can press into your inner thigh to help twist you a little further to the right. Okay. Your right hand is back behind you somewhere. You can also press your right hand down into the floor to promote a lift through your lungs as you inhale, a little bit of a back bend as you inhale, and then see if there's any more twist on your exhale. And this winds up being what I call an energetic vinyasa, which means you might not go far, you might not go anywhere, but energetically you're lifting your lungs on inhale. Energetically you're twisting on exhale. Now, as you lift your lungs, the tendency for a lot of people is what's that?
Right leg is straight?
Your right leg is still straight, correct. Uh-huh. Yeah, and a left foot's flat on the floor. Is that working? Cool. I hope it's working. Good. So as you're lifting your lungs, you're also trying to drop your left sitting bone into the floor. The tendency is for that left hip to hike up. So when we were standing, it was feet drive through the floor. Here, try to drive your left sitting bone down as you lift your lungs up. And then exhale, twist. And we've been doing that for about a minute and a half here. So one last time here, take a deep breath in and exhale. From there, release, come back to center, both legs straight now. Okay, yeah, hopefully that felt like a good way to wring out guts, wring out spine. Notice like the blood, like all your fluid body, your lymph, your blood infuse back into your abdomen. Okay, and so let's repeat that just as slowly on the other side. So on this side, your left leg will be straight forward. And everyone, please bend your right knee and place your right foot flat on the floor. Okay. So right foot's on the floor, right knee is pointing up toward the ceiling somewhere. Inhale here, arch your back a little, and then exhale, let's all turn your heart to the left. So now your left arm is your back arm, so left hand on the floor behind you. And we're going to take your right elbow into your right inner thigh, or like right knee. Okay, so there's contact there. Your right elbow's into inner thigh. Elbows bent 90 degrees, and your fingers can point up. Okay, that's a pretty neutral place for your shoulder. Okay, and so now we can use that inner thigh, we can use the back arm to facilitate this energetic vinyasa. So as you inhale, arch your back a little and lift your lungs up as high as you can. So the energy of the inhale is the length along front spine. And as you exhale, press your elbow into inner thigh, and you can also use your back arm to see if there's more twist, more ringing of belly. And then you repeat this several times. And maybe the first couple times you wind up moving quite a bit, but after the first couple times, usually people are just kind of in their place. They're not going to, we can't twist forever, we can't lengthen forever. So eventually it becomes more of a notion than a movement. But the energetic vinyasa is a lengthening of the spine on inhale. And then you try to keep that length and exhale, twist. Breathe into belly. This is an open twist, so there's plenty of room to breathe into guts. Notice that as you lift your lungs up, the tendency could be that your right sitting bone lifts as well. So we're going to add one more thing to get a little more stretch in your right low back. As you lift your lungs high, press your right sitting bone down. It might get to the floor, or at least it's going down. And then you twist. And then you try that again. So you lengthen, right sitting bone down, lungs lift, exhale, you twist. And we've been doing that long enough, so two more breaths. Okay. Great. And then from there, come back out of that. Release both legs forward. All right. Yeah. If there were clicks and pops, kind of notice you might click and pop back to center. More blood in belly, around ribs. If your face got all kind of crinkled up and tense and smushed up, you can wiggle waggle your jaw. Relax your jaw. Relax around your eyes. Relax around your ears. Okay, very good. So from here, left leg stays forward. This time your right foot now, place it onto the floor and then drop your right knee out to the right. So let me describe this again. We're seated, left leg is straight. The sole of your right foot, bring the sole of the foot along the left inner leg somewhere. If your right knee can bend a lot, your right foot's going to be on your left inner thigh, but it doesn't have to be. It can be on the shin as well. Just don't press your heel directly into your knee, and that's all. Okay? So from here, left leg is straight, right knee is bent out to the right. Inhale here, you're going to lengthen. Now exhale, you're going to twist your heart to the right. So you're going to take your right hand behind you for the moment. And can everyone take their left hand to their inner leg somewhere? You can either take hold of your ankle or have your left hand be on the floor somewhere along the inside of your left leg. So in the last pose, we used our arm to twist. We can do this here too by pressing into your inner thigh. So now your left hand, like the outside of your left hand's going to press into inner thigh. That helps you turn your belly and your heart to the right. From here, you're now going to reach your right arm. Your right hand was on the ground. Now it's going to reach up toward the ceiling. You're reaching up, 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 up. Now keep on rolling your belly. The skin of your navel rolls to the right. But from here, we're going to side bend down the inside of your left leg as far as you can. Some of you will go a millimeter, half an inch. Some of you might be able to get your left forearm on the floor to the inside of your left leg. Very flexible people would get their left shoulder basically on the inside of their left knee. Okay? But that's not a goal. Don't be ambitious like that. Just know that that's where we're going. But your right arm's reaching up. Now, the more your right arm reaches up, the more you can send your right sitting bone into the floor. And really, I'm trying to get this stretch on the outside right lateral line, outside right hip, outside kidney space. So breathe into your right waist another 2 or 3 times. As your right arm reaches up and overhead, send your right sitting bone into the floor. And breathe into it again. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. Right hand comes back to hip. Come out of that. Release back up. All right. Both legs forward. Come back to center. Notice how weird this one feels after just doing one side. It might feel like you're longer on your right than you are on your left. Okay. Great. And let's try that on the other side. Your right leg remains straight. Your left foot, bend your left knee out to the side and take your left foot somewhere down the inside of your right leg. So either the sole of your left foot is on right thigh or maybe right shin. Okay. And from here, you're going to arch your back now and lift your lungs, arch your back, lift your lungs. Exhale, we're now going to twist to the left. So heart goes to the left. That means now your left arm is behind you. You can keep your left hand on the floor for a moment. Right hand goes to the inside of your right leg somewhere. Okay, so whether it's on the thigh or around the knee, you can even have it on your foot if you'd like, if it's there. Okay, so From there, you can use your right hand, sort of like press the outside of your right hand into the inside of your right leg. That helps the twist. And you're going to keep doing that with your right hand. Left arm reaches up for this big stretch on your left side. So left arm reaches up, 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 up. Huge inhale here. Now as you exhale, roll the skin of your abdomen to the left as far as you can. So skin of belly rolling to the left, but we're going to fold down your right leg. Okay. And as you're folding down your right, you're either A, going to slide your right hand further down the inside of your right leg. Some of you may also get your forearm on the floor. Okay. Really flexible people get their right shoulder to the inside of their right leg somewhere. That's not me, but that's some. That's like one out of every 1,000 people can do that. I'm just guessing that, but it's definitely not more than that. And from here, as you're reaching your left arm up and overhead, plug your left sitting bone into the floor. So the more you roll your belly to the right, roll your belly to the left, reach your left arm up and plug your right sitting bone into the floor. Now breathe into that stretch 2 or 3 more times. Okay. Very good. Take a deep breath in. Okay. Come out of that. Release. Extend your legs forward. Hands can be behind you. Also slide your sitting bones back a little bit to lift your lungs. And press your heels forward. If that feels like enough of a hamstring stretch, you can stay there. If you'd like, slide your sitting bones back even further. That helps you tilt your hips forward and we can start folding down the legs. So hands can be on thighs. If it feels okay for your sacrum and your low back, you can slide your hands down to knees or shins. Some of you may be able to hold your feet with your hands in this. It's called Paschimottanasana. It's a double-legged forward fold. And as you're forward folding, now we're finally compressing the belly. You can draw your navel in a little bit and breathe into your low back. And breathe into your low back another few times.
Are legs straight with feet pointing up?
With toes pointing up. Yep. And the legs, they don't have to be like 100% straight. If you need a little bit of knee bend, you can totally do that. Yeah. Are you getting a good stretch in your hamstring is the question. But yes, yeah, good question. Toes are pointing upward. A little bit of that rotation outer thigh to inner thigh, like we did in our wide-legged stance. And 2 more breaths here. All right, great. And then inhale, come back up, lie on the back. It's all lie face up. Yogi's choice on what your arms are doing, they can be wherever, anywhere you want, as long as they're attached to your torso. And place both feet, so soles of feet together, bend your knees out to the sides. So you're on your back, soles of feet together, bend your knees out to the sides. And last minute here, it's like a resting pose for your abdomen after doing a whole bunch of lengthening and stretching and compressing and breathing and moving around. Just kind of notice all the sort of quiet activity of your belly. You might hear your own digestive sounds That's a good thing. I know sometimes people, sort of like embarrassed by the groaning, but that's actually a good thing. It means you're in rest and digest mode. So fantastic. Also, you might be able to feel your heartbeat through your belly. Now that we've created more space for blood to flow. So breathe intuitively another 30 seconds here. And if your legs don't like this after a while, you can just extend your legs forward. All right. Very good. So take a slightly deeper inhale. A big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay. Great. So yeah, if your feet are together, everyone slide your legs forward. Do a full body stretch. Just reach your arms beyond your head, heels forward. Big inhale. And then exhale, you can roll to one side. Come up around to seated. And thank you everyone for practicing with me. Great. Yeah, namaste. All right, and yeah, so please let me know how that was. Very, very, very gutsy practice today. If anyone has any feedback or questions, go ahead, chime in here.